Good morning. Hope you're having a great day so far today. There's a few things lining up today, hopefully, which should look really nice. So we get straight into those. Share my screen. Alrighty, video. Now we're off. Okay, so let's go through these in order as usual. Starting at the top, which was Aussie yen. Was it the top one? Was Aussie CAD, I believe. Aussie CAD. Okay. Right. So on Aussie CAD, daily we've had this level being rejected quite nicely yesterday. Nice bearish looking candle. So we've got some downward momentum, hopefully continuing. Looking for some downside today. Lower time frames, we'll zoom into the 1 hour as usual. And okay, well, we did get a break down below this trend line yesterday and pull back. But it did break the trend line again and retested this line, this resistance line. So we've got discretionary IBO again. So that is pulling back at the moment. If that pulls back soon, that could be a nice IBO. That'll be an IBO A short, but change of direction, change of trend confirmed by the lower highs and lower lows. It's an IBO A, and you can take that down to the 4 hour 50. You could even do a pip snatcher because the pivots line up nicely as well. So I'll play down to the 4 hour 50, or there's opportunity here to go or push it further. I'll take it down to the day 20 myself. That's a much nicer looking trade with the potential 3%. So that's a very nice looking one happening not too distant future, maybe. Hope you get time to see that before it presents and goes. Right, Aussie yen. Now, Aussie yen, what do we have here? The higher time frames. So higher time frames are pretty good. It's been going sideways for quite a while. I'm not sure what it's going to do. And then it broke down nicely yesterday below these lows here, previous lows. So that's a good sign. And we now have potential to go down to these lows as a minimum. So Aussie yen is looking short. Do we have a strategy that we can use on this chart we see here? Right, well, if you do have fibs from the highs to the lows, the 382 lines up well with where the 1 hour 50 will be as it pulls back. The pivots here as well, also for a possible pip snatcher. And the IBO that presents our ACBB, sorry, ACBB, because the 4 hour 50 is behind us. So we're trading away from the 4 hour 50. So ACBB, potentially down to these lows. This low here should be not low, the S1, the daily pivot. This will be a good price target, or you can push it a lot further than that, because as we see from the daily, the next low really is these lows down here. So there's a bit of room there for some good potential. Now, what I don't like about it, if it pulls back to the pivot and rejects it cleanly, that's good in that we do have a lower high here. But we do have this double bottom. Double bottom's a bit of a worry. Not a trade, trade killer. It wouldn't mean it's not worth taking, but it's something to be careful of. And if you don't have your 1% profit before you get here, or you're not prepared to move to break even before you hit this level, there's always a chance it will reject it for the third time, come back, and then who knows what it'll do. Maybe it'll take your stop. So that's the only big downside I see here, is that if it pulls back up to the 382, we may even get a higher high, which you could call that a ABC correction maybe. So then we just got to trade through this double bottom. So that's the only downside, is this double bottom there. That's some other Aussie ones which maybe better plays. Right, Aussie dollar. Went short yesterday as we suspected, and there's a little bit of room for the downside. This is the blue prediction I put in yesterday. And it worked out pretty close. Came down to 450, came back, IBOC, if you got that, nice one. And that'll be playing out really nicely for you now, trending straight through the 4-hour 50. Now we're looking for CBO. CBO fibs line up well from here, down to these lows. 382 lines up well with the 4-hour 50, the 1-hour 50 is catching up. So in a few hours, that could line up nicely for a CBO short to the day 20, or perhaps daily 50, depending on your trading plan and your trading style. Now there's a negative here. What was that? Ah, yes, the Elliott wave. So Elliott wave on this 1-hour chart. So from here, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. This is wave 5. This could be a wave 5 already completed. And then the CBO will therefore be wave 7, which we don't have an Elliott wave. So there you go. So that's any downside. Maybe this is a wave 1 consolidation, still 1, pull back 2. This is wave 3, pull back 4, and then we have a wave 5. So that's any drawback. I think apart from that, it's a nice looking setup. And there's definitely some downside momentum, so hopefully that will continue to the downside. Okay, let's go to pound CAD. Still at its level still, and a nice little high test, bearish looking candle yesterday. So we now have a break below the 1-hour 50, and it's pulling back, starting to pull back. So to the 1-hour 50, that gives us an IBO short. The fibs, if you go from the high here, from this high, then the fibs don't really line up. We trim the wick off. You should be trimming the wick off this one as well, I suppose. So the fibs aren't that great, but if it pulls back to the pivot, daily pivot, and which of course you can't do a pip snatcher because then you're trading through the 1-hour 50. But so you can't do a pip snatcher, but the IBO could still be on because maybe you just get a wick of the pip, the pivot, and trade that short. So that's a good setup. That's not ideal the way the fibs line up, but it's still a possibility. Pound dollar. See what that one's giving us. So we had a bearish day yesterday. It's good after this rejection of this resistance line. Looking to go short again today, down to day 20 at least. On the 1-hour chart, we have. So we've had the IBO yesterday. It did pull back quite a way, but it still held, and then broke back down through the 1-hour 50. So we've got this down at the 4-hour 50 now, rejecting that. Hopefully, if it pulls back now, we'll get a discretionary second IBO. That first one wasn't really great. Did pull back behind the 1-hour 50 for quite a few hours. So maybe you can take this as the first IBO, the proper IBO. IBOC, of course, we've hit the 4-hour 50. The fibs line up well. 382 lines up well with where the 1-hour 50 will be when it pulls back. Pound dollar, that's another 8 hours from now. It'll set up, give it plenty of time for that to pull down. I'll pull back up here, the 1-hour 50 to come down. It'll be a nice IBOC short down to the daily 20. So that one looks like a nice possible setup. Kiwi CAD, rejecting this level. And a bearish high test yesterday, so looking for another bearish day today. 1-hour chart, 1-hour 50 has not been cleanly broken yet. 2 little attempts and broke up back above it. Now we've got this really nice break below last night. And that means that fibs line up well, perfectly for 382 and the pivot. So you can take it to the quick pip snatcher if you wanted to. Could be a nice little pip snatcher. Or you can trade it as an IBO. Double top, it's probably an IBOB. Can't see an obvious trend change there yet. We do have a lower low, which is good, but no lower high as such. So IBOB short to the 4-hour 50 or beyond, and that's looking pretty good. Let's go to Kiwi Swiss. We've got there. Similar, a bit more bearish action yesterday than QVCAD, so got a little bit of room still to the daily 20. And we did a pull back to the 1 hour 50 to give us an IBO, but now we're setting up possibly for a CBO. So we're looking for this to pull back up here when the 1 hour 50 comes down to meet it. Actually, no, the fibs don't line up very well for that. So scratch what I just said. I can't see a decent fib in there for a CBO. So the only the fib lines up well with an IBO. So if it does pull back now, we get an IBOC. Break through the 4 hour 50, just give us a quick test the 1 hour 50 and 382, and then trade back down again. It could be a nice IBOC and to the daily 20. I just can't CBO just because the 382 doesn't line up very well. If it does only pull back to the 4 hour 50, you could take that as a pip snatcher. That could be a pip snatcher as well. So pip snatcher or IBOC, I can't see the CBO because of the fibs. If you force it, the fibs to line up, then no, that's not right. So the only other option, of course, is to break down a bit lower and then pull back. That could give us a nice CBO. That's possible. So let's see how that plays out. Kiwi dollar. Again, bearish action yesterday. Looking like we're going to continue down to the daily 20. Looking good. Oh, there's my delay from yesterday, almost perfect. So if you've got in that, you're doing well. Trading through the 4 hour 50. So we've had the IBO. Ideally, we'd like to see us come down here to about this kind of level, pull back for a nice CBO. The 1 hour 50 is quite a long way behind. There's a lot of catching up to do. What is possible is that this will pull back for an IBOC. Do a fib from here, perhaps. That's a good place to do a fib. These lows do hold. And then it pulls back to here with 1 hour 50 catches up in a few hours' time, then that could well line up for an IBOC. So see how that one plays out, see what presents. If it breaks down lower and pulls back, it could be a CBO. Either way, there could be something nice happening there today. Okay, last one we'll look at, which is presenting, or setting up right now. Dollar CAD is bullish, finally breaking through the daily 50, looking bullish. Does that continue today? Looking at the weekly, we can see it's broken down to the weekly 20 and firmly rejected it. So that's looking like it could well be going bullish again today. And we have a trend line. We have a nice trend in place. And we have a nice pip snatcher. So if this pulls back here, dollar CAD, another 8 hours away, pulls back here to the trend line, to the pivot. We've got the daily 50 and the daily 20 protection before I stop, which is good. So 8 hours for this 1 hour 50 to catch up. It's got some catching up to do to see how that plays out, but that's looking like a good possibility for later on. Okay, the other one we'll have a quick look at is Aussie Kiwi, which we've been looking at for a while. Hitting this level here, not really bouncing up back towards the daily 50, but not breaking down either. So away from some positive action. The hourly is giving us, as we'd expect, very sideways. So nothing on at the moment. I wouldn't be trading any IBOs because of this. We've already had IBOs, and IBOs keep failing. So if we do get some positive action and the Aussie gets some strength and breaks above the 4 hour 50, then comes back from CBO, it could be an option for later on. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. I'll just stop all this, start all this. Okay, so we've got a few things there to be keeping an eye on today, so it could be quite exciting, could be good. I wish you all the best in the markets. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're learning as you go, and just keep. The more time you spend looking at the charts, is the better you'll get. The more you'll see these patterns emerging all the time. You'll be able to see setups before they happen and see if this moves down here, then that gives us a nice setup and gives you a bit of a bit of foresight into where you think the market's going to go, and that makes life much easier. And going through these watch lists can become a 10 or 15 minute affair instead of when I started, it took me 1 or 2 hours trying to predict where the market's going to go and what setups will work. So it's all down to practice. Keep it up. It'll pay off in the end if you stick with it. And I'll see you tomorrow. All the best. Take care.